How's it going, Pokemon PMPBeta? My name is Dallasboi1992, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a Pokemon Black and White 2 Wi-Fi battle. And today's match is going to be against TSV3CTOR, who I ran into on Skype, and I was trying to ask for no U match on there, because I wanted to test out this team. TSV3CTOR accepted, and this is pretty much what happened. So, anyways, looking at the teams, I see the Jellicent, and I can wall a significant portion of my team, provided it is the defensive set, and if it is that set, 4 of my guys can't really touch it that well. Or maybe 5, if Kieran Black gets burnt. So, yeah, Jellicent's going to be a problem, and pretty much my answer to his team would have to be Landorus Therian, because it hits 4 of his guys with super effective damage, because he has 3 things weak to rock, and I also have U-turn to deal with Latias. So, pretty much keep my Landorus alive and remove Jellicent with any form of toxic damage, and I should probably be okay with this match. So, I hope you guys enjoy this battle, and let's get this show on the road! So starting off, he's going to be leading off with his Jellicent, and I opt to lead with my Landorus Therian form, and I don't want to take any water attacks from this thing, so I'm just going to be going for the U-turn on turn 1, and just going to my Politoed from here to try to take whatever hit this thing wants to dish out at me. Maybe I'm thinking Scald, but it actually turns out that he's going to be firing off a Shadow Ball at me, and looking at the damage it deals at me, that is a Choice Specs Jellicent, which was pretty scary for me, because that did a lot to that being a Politoed. So I'm just gonna go for the Protect to 1, get some lefties recovery back, and 2, try to confirm that this is a Choice Specs Jellicent. So, and it is actually a Choice Specs Jellicent, as he's not switching up moves. And Kieran Black was probably the best thing I had to take a Shadow Ball from, due to Magneton being a thing and trapping my Jirachi and stuff. So I switch out into that and try to fire off a Fusion Bolt on the Jellicent. I did not want to deal with that thing at all. So I just fired up the Fusion Bolt. Magneton takes that very nicely due to a Violite, and that's going to force me to switch out into my Landorus. And then he's actually going to be taking up the sub, and the HP Ice from here is very, very obvious. So I'm just going to be going out into my Politoed after I hit the sub with the U-turn. And Magneton is going to be going for the said HP Ice. And now, I'm hoping that I'm faster than the Magneton, so I'm just going to be going for a Scald, foddering off my Politoed from here. And Charge Beam is his move of choice, and it doesn't quite kill me. But he sees that I'm faster, and a Scald is definitely going to be coming his way. So I'm pretty much going to take this knowledge to my advantage and actually go for the Toxic, predicting the Jellicent to come in. And Jellicent is pretty crippled for the rest of this match. And here I'm just going to try to go for the Protect to see what he wants to lock himself into. But he's going to be switching into his Terrakion here. And yeah, that's going to have to force me to go for the Protect on this thing, thinking that this thing might be his team's Scarfer. And he's going to be going for the Stone Edge here, so I don't want anything on my team to take with Stone Edge, so I'm just going to be sacking my Politoed from here. And right now I'm going to be going out into my Landorus Therian form to get some Intimidate action off on that Terrakion, and then predict the Latias switch in and go for the U-turn. And pretty much the best thing on my team to take a hit from this thing would have to be my Jirachi, so I have to go out into that, and pretty much knowing that he'd go out into his Magneton, which he does here, I am actually going to be pulling a double switch right out into my Moltres, which is definitely faster than Magneton due to base speeds and whatnot, and I can try to fire off a Fire Blast on this thing, but he actually goes out into his Snorlax, which takes the Fire Blast very nicely because of 1, Thick Fat, and 2, the rain is up. So I don't want anything taking a hit from the Snorlax either, so I'm just going to be going straight for the Hurricane, and that does a lot from a Moltres. And I actually get the Confusion on this thing, and Snorlax actually winds up hitting itself in Confusion. Was unfortunate, and that will be playing a little bit of play later on in the match, as you'll see, as I fire off 1 more Hurricane. So now Terrakion's going to be coming back in. I don't want my Moltres taking the Stone Edge, so I have to go out into the next best thing that wants to take it, or that I thought would like to take it, except for the fact that it's looking like a 2-hit KO from there. So that's going to prompt me to switch out into my Jirachi to take this next Stone Edge. So, and yeah, Jirachi takes that very nicely, but I'm still fearing that Magneton. But I'm switching out into my Landers on the double switch, and he stays in, goes for the Stone Edge, hits me, and I'm in a world of trouble due to the fact that I now lost my Landorus. So now Gorath, the Tentacruel, is now going to be the most important member of my team trying to deal with that Terrakion. And maybe the Jellicent from here on out. So now comes Metagross, and Terrakion doesn't want to hit my Tentacruel at plus with -2 and whatnot. So I'm just going to be setting up a sub predicting the Jellicent to come in, but Metagross actually comes in. I fire up a Scald, I don't burn it, unfortunately, and the obvious Jellicent switch is obvious, so I'm just going to be going for the Rapid Spin here, not wanting to use Scald to recover any lost HP that the Jellicent suffered from, and I'm just using Rapid Spin as PowerPoint Toxic Stalling fodder, or whatever you call it, just so I can just whittle this Jellicent down for the future. So now, I'm just going to be going into my Jirachi to try to sponge a Shadow Ball, because Rocks are up, and Kieran Black would not want to appreciate taking Shadow Ball after Stealth Rocks. I feared that it would have been pretty much Oko from there. So, I'm just going to try to go for the Iron Head on the Jellicent, but out comes Magneton, and yeah, Jirachi is pretty much stuck here for the time being. So, I'm just going to try to spam Iron Head to try to get flinches and whatnot. And thanks to the special defense drop that Jellicent got on my Jirachi, Thunderbolt's going to be doing a lot more than I thought. And fortunately there I get a flinch, but I'm thinking all this flinching is just going to be pointless from here on out. So I'm just going to set up Stealth Rocks as he tries to kill me off with Thunderbolt. Except for the fact that he's actually going to be setting up a sub. But fortunately for me, that little bit of Stealth Rocks is probably going to be coming into a wee bit of play, as you will be seeing later on in the match. But now I'm going to be going on to my Kieran White. I can take any hit from this Magneton, because it doesn't have Flash Cannon or anything, which was what I was afraid of earlier in the game. I didn't want my Kieran Black taking a Flash Cannon, and Fusion Bolt was doing squat. So here I'm just going to be going for the Outrage for a couple of turns. I lived the Thunderbolt with 88, and fortunately that Magneton, which was a huge nuisance to my team, is now gone. So now out comes Metagross, and Metagross is just going to be there to revenge kill me with Bullet Punch since I got the 3-turn Outrage. And now I'm going to be sending out my Tentacruel, and thinking that Jellicent might want to come in, I just set up a sub, and he's just going to be going for the Meteor Mash here, trying to break my sub and whatnot. And looks like Jellicent isn't going to be switching out anytime soon. Here I go for the Rapid Spin, thinking that the Jellicent might want to come in on the Scald and get some HP back. And if I set up a sub, Metagross might hit me with Meteor Mash and I lose more health than I get. So Rapid Spin there was the safer move. And fortunately there, on the next time I set up a sub, he gets a low damage roll, which pretty much allows me to have my sub intact in case Latias wants to come in. And here I actually get a burn on the Metagross right there, and it's pretty much good as dead from here on out, because after the burn it can switch in on Stealth Rocks, and if it tries to break my sub with Meteor Mash, it goes down regardless, and I get up a free sub, and he makes the optimal play here and sets up his Stealth Rocks once more, as he is going to be foddering off his Metagross. And once again, my Moltres is pretty much crippled, but now I'm down 3-2. But now here out comes Jellicent, and I just sped up this bit because it's pretty much me just trying to stall out this Jellicent with toxic damage and whatnot. Just going for sub, trying to whittle this thing down. I get up a Rapid Spin one turn as PP, toxic stalling fodder, or whatever you want to call it. And after a few Shadow Balls and substitutes, Jellicent will be going down to the toxic damage, and here's pretty much going to be going out to his Latias, which I'm pretty much threatened by, and here I pretty much felt like he made a mistake. He goes for the Calm Mind, and not the offensive move there, but he actually told me in the Skype chat that he did not have Psychic, and this is a really bulky Calm Minding Latias, which explains the previous turn damage done by Landorus. And I actually lived the Dragon Pulse with 109 and I actually get off my substitute, which has me in a very favorable position there, as he makes another mistake setting up the +2, as I reveal to him that my Tentacruel carries Toxic. So I have my as good as dead as my Tentacruel is, I pretty much have it in a very good position to have Moltres revenge kill with the Hurricane at any given point when my Tentacruel goes down, and I'm just gonna try to stall off my opponent's Latias with substitutes and whatnot for my Tentacruel. But here I'm thinking, I think Tentacruel did its job, and from the next few turns of toxic damage, Moltres can revenge kill the Latias due to it being really bulky and whatnot, so it's probably not invested in speed. So I'm just gonna be firing off the Brain Boosted Scald, and I'll pretty much in the point where I've whittled this Latias down to where, regardless of it being at +2, Moltres can come in and pretty much revenge kill the Latias with a Hurricane. So in comes said Moltres, and I am going to be firing off a Hurricane, and due to the rain, it is going to be 100% accurate, and Latias is down, but it pretty much comes down to one turn here, as his last Pokemon is Terrakion. And I'm going to turbo slow down this part right here. I ran a calc, and it turns out if he misses his Stone Edge, thanks to the Stealth Rocks from earlier, which I set up with Jirachi, I have a 31.25% chance to KO this Terrakion after Stealth Rocks, provided he does miss Stone Edge. And fortunately for me, he does miss Stone Edge there, and I am able to fire off that Hurricane, but unfortunately for me, he lives with 4, and he's able to hit the next Stone Edge, and that will be the very narrow 1-0 in his favor. So those last few turns had me on the edge of my seat, but well, he pretty much outplayed me with that Stone Edge prediction on my Landorus Therian as I was switching on with my Jirachi, and that pretty much turned the tide of that battle in his favor until my Tentacruel began toxic stalling that Latias and whatnot. But at the end of the day, regardless of if he missed that Stone Edge or not, and I had the same damage roll, it was pretty much his battle at the end of the day. But it was still an amazing battle, and if you want to go check me out, my channel link will be in the description, as well as his. So, great game, TS Vector. Rate, comment, sub, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the future. Goodbye.